Guys, we're back with another tier list. You really hated the last one, so hopefully we can keep that trend going and really make another brutal list here.
We failed the people of Minnesota and their jerseys. We failed them.
We failed the people of Winnipeg because this jersey is growing
come on. The people of Winnipeg failed the people of Winnipeg.
All I gotta say is Klisterman. Why don't you go take your Sergei Beresin jersey and go visit the CN Tower?
What does that mean? What kind of chirp is that?
I don't know. A brutal chirp.
If you haven't been making fun of Jesse in the comments, you should be. So just let him know down below.
We're going to rank the teams. We're going to just pick who we think are our Stanley Cup favorites, our first overall pick favorites, and then just like everything in between.
For this season, right?
For the
just this season.
2021 season.
If that's the case, and I'm starting with Ducks, I'm going to say that they're bad. Like, really bad. Like, I think that they have no shot is their upside, and I think that their potential number one overall draft pick consideration.
This guy has absolutely no love for Stanley Cup champion Skullet Rockin' Kevin Shattenkirk.
Do you think Skullet, like Shattenkirk, is going to be enough to get them out of that? I don't think so. I'm going to put them at potential number one overall draft pick. And Jesse, I dare you, change my mind.
The Ducks are nothing to write home about, okay? They are.
That's
not,
the
Sound like
thing.
you're changing his mind.
Yeah, okay,
Look,
maybe not.
They're not great, and I would definitely say that they have no chance. But I don't think they're. But I wouldn't say that they're first overall pick favorites necessarily.
I can't believe we even talked about the Ducks for this long.
I would agree with Jesse though. Like John Gibson plus those D can steal you a couple games.
Sonny Milano is a really good hockey name, but that's all I really have to say about their forwards.
Listen, they're first overall draft pick contenders for me. If you guys want to change it, y'all got to vote on it.
I think no chance.
Yeah,
No
I
chance.
think no chance, but I
I'm
just
in
want
for
to...
no chance.
Guys. We got the Bruins. Jesse, you're nominated in this one.
This is interesting.
Interesting. More like it's a no-brainer. Boston's a threat every year, but I don't necessarily think that they're the best team, so I guess we're going to have to stick them in elite, but if I had to think about like top three contenders, they'd probably be in my top three.
That's concise.
They're dangerous every single night. They could win any year. Like that core group is just aging.
I think you nailed it, the Bruins in elite.
Nobody in here would put them below that.
Speaking of below that, though, our next team might throw the category.
Julia, you're up.
Well,
what do you think of the Buffalo Sabres?
I really want to put them in average but promising.
That seems fair.
We want the Buffalo Sabres
It's
to be
up to
good
you,
every
Jules.
single year. I think average but promising is good.
I'll throw out a hot take here. Like, I think Buffalo's making the playoffs.
I thought for sure they were making the playoffs last year.
You and every Sabres fan for the last 10 years, Julia.
I'm going to share a hot take,
Of course
even
you
though it's piping cold. The Buffalo Sabres are not going to make the playoffs. They're in way too hard of a division.
Up front, they are loaded.
And if Rasmus Dahlin can take another step, I believe in Buffalo.
Let's go, Buffalo!
Luca, you're up with the Calgary Flames.
I'm going to place them in average but promising because we just haven't seen it from them. What's different this year? Markstrom in net, okay, maybe a little more consistency. You lost Brody, you get Tanev. I don't know. I don't consider them an elite team.
I don't think anyone disagrees with you there. I think they took a slight downgrade with Tanev versus Brody. I think they made an upgrade with Markstrom, so like they'll be pretty similar.
I think you nailed it, Luca.
Let's move on. I guess it's me with Carolina. Again, I don't know if this is going to be a hot take, but I'm absolutely obsessed with Svechnikov, so I'm going elite.
Yeah, I think that's
I love
perfect.
Svech.
They're the team that I'm always scared of that like, oh God, are they about to just like have a dynasty for a little while?
I like everything about the Carolina Hurricanes. Literally everything about them.
Their goalie is still the question mark, right?
But it's a question mark
they're goalies.
sometimes, because
We just
sometimes
don't
it's
know.
insane.
We don't know if their goalies are good enough to take them to the promised land, but they definitely have an elite roster. Their head coach is also an absolute horse.
Stud. Just a stud.
He loves to flex.
Sam, you're up with Colorado.
I honestly think you can probably put the Avalanche as the Stanley Cup champion.
I'm
Luke, I know you're gonna love it, but like right now they're the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup too. We're betting favorites. I hate that I'm skewing this way, but like I think they could be the Stanley Cup champions easily.
I just hate that like Luca's gonna have his team on top of this thing for an entire video again.
I know, again.
I think if you're looking for a pause for their Stanley Cup hype, it would be goaltending. But everywhere else, like they're loaded. I don't think any team on paper has as much talent up front and on the back end as Colorado.
We have not seen Colorado healthy at its best in the playoffs yet. And if that happens this year, look out.
I'm clearly just being a hater. Like, I know they're a disgusting team. So whatever, let's just move on.
So
Stanley Cup
whatever.
champions 2020-21. Your Colorado Avalanche.
We'll let you just sit on top of that pedestal and then come crumbling down. Jesse, you're up with the Columbus Blue Jackets, which is, I think, kind of an interesting one.
Ooh.
So
Friend of the
really-
program.
Friend of the show. Honestly, shout out to Boone. I actually really like Columbus. By no means do I think they're elite. They might have the best coach in the league, if we're being honest.
Certainly the angriest.
Man, remember that game with Pierre-Luc Dubois when he literally pulled the hockey player out of him? Like he extracted the awesome
and then this is a pretty well-rounded team. They're very good defensively. They're very disciplined. And I think that they're a team that low-key do a little damage.
Jesse, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I think by the end of this list, we'll feel like they're a little high. Julia, you want to go with the Red Wings?
Oh, I don't want to be mean. Okay, here we go.
Do not
Let's
start
just-
with this with I have a hot take, because that ain't no one
I don't
ain't
have
no
a
one
hot
listening.
take. They're all cold. I think Tyler Bertuzzi's cool, but this team has no chance.
You're going no chance.
They're not going to be...
They might be.
I think
They probably will
No
be.
chances. The Red Wings will take no chance.
I
Throw
bet the
them in the
fans would
basement.
prefer you rank them as first overall pick favorites because they probably feel robbed after last year.
Okay, chuck them in the basement, and let's not talk about them again.
I'm not having fun.
Luka with Florida.
Immediately looks up the roster because we have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
They're losing some pretty good players.
they're going to rely on a couple of younger guys to come in, like
Owen
Owen
Tippett.
Tippett.
Guys, I think we're trying to remember who's on this team right now, and I think it's very telling as to where they should be going.
It's got to be meh.
They're mad. They're mad.
They picked up one of the best beards in the league, though, in Radko Gudas.
Oh, look out.
This one I
Interesting.
am very interested in. Who? Oh, it's me. Okay, guys,
You got it.
let me know what you think of this. But
Okay, here's my beef. I don't mind you putting them there strictly because they have McDavid, and you just don't know what's going to happen when you have a guy like Connor McDavid.
And Draisaitl, right?
But I think on paper, the Calgary Flames are a better team than the Oilers.
are they though?
Depth-wise.
Yeah, they are. man.
I
The
don't
Oilers,
have
the
no
Oilers don't
depth
have
at all.
goaltending. The Oilers do not have reliable goaltending.
That's
Like,
very
that-
true.
It's an issue.
Do you guys
It's a
remember at the
huge
beginning of the
issue.
year last year when people were looking at the Oilers roster and thinking, oh my gosh, this is an AHL roster?
Yeah, but like Yamamoto looked unreal. Puljujärvi's coming back,
Yeah.
right?
He's coming
And then
back. He's coming home.
A third line of like Tyler Ennis, Kyle Turris, and James Neal is like
The
decent.
real deal.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Maybe I have them too high here. I expect them to be pretty good this year.
It's hard to knock a team that has McDavid and Draisaitl and not put them in elite.
McDavid should dummy the league next year.
Can you call a team elite without
Yeah.
goaltending?
Koskinen was decent last year. 917 save percentage, pretty good. Are we voting it down or no?
I don't think Luke and I have any help here.
Sam, you're up with the Islanders.
Uncle Lou.
I don't want to say anything crazy here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he's
He'll
gonna
send
come
someone
out.
for you, Sam.
He's got
He'll
people
send
watching and listening.
we just did the Oilers as elite. And even though I think that they're average but promising, like you guys agreed that they're elite, and that's fine. I don't think that the Islanders are better. They also made a mistake with their reverse retro, so like that's also points against them, but I won't, not too many. They're average but promising, verging on elite, but they're average but promising.
The weird part for them is like they're a good team, but I don't see as much upside as other teams. Do you guys expect more out of the Islanders?
I think they've overperformed for a couple of times.
I think average but promising is a very appropriate place for the Islanders.
Jesse, you're up with the Kings.
This is an interesting one.
Is it though?
Is it interesting?
No,
In what sense?
Honestly, look, there are such few teams that should actually be able to compete for the number one pick. And while I think LA is on the right track, I definitely think that they're probably still in that first overall pick favorite range. I don't think LA is a very good team right now.
They've got some great prospects in the pipeline, though. All those kids that went to Germany, like Kale Thomas, Quentin Byfield.
They have
I think he's
Turcotte
sticking a
too,
few
and
years.
they've got some good
They
prospects.
got a bright
but
future.
They've got a bright future.
You know what makes a future even brighter? Another top 3 pick.
Julia, you're up with
Oh,
the
it's my
Minnesota
turn?
Wild. You get to
No.
redeem yourself. So does this
I
mean-
wish I got the Minnesota Wild.
I've already slighted the people of Minnesota in such a way by not defending their honor with those North Stars jerseys.
So
I knew it was the
so
right
you're
thing to
saying
do.
you're going to give them a good rating this time, right?
No, I can't lie. That's why I don't want them. There's never been a more meh team than the Minnesota Wild. But I love
Yes.
meh. I'd like to say that.
They're borderline no chance.
I think their top 4D are pretty decent, right? Like, I wouldn't say no chance. Like, there's just not great.
I do feel really bad for their fan base because like I don't know a team that I can look at like the moves they've made and been like, what?
They're in a right spot there.
Let's move on. I believe Luca, you're up with
Yeah.
the Montreal Canadiens.
I don't know where to put them. They're definitely not elite. I guess average but promising has to be the category. Like, they made a lot of upgrades. Tyler Toffoli, Josh Anderson. I feel like they're really underrated.
If Kotkaniemi takes a step forward this year and can lock down a first-line center role, this is low-key a pretty good team.
Montreal's the scariest team for me as a Leafs fan because I actually think they're a really good team. Okay, so me with the Predators. This is a really interesting one.
Yeah.
The ultimate
or maybe
meh.
I was just gonna say maybe it's the exact opposite of interesting. Also, why are all the cats in meh? But
Whoa.
It's
but
the
yeah,
felines.
like they're pretty meh. I don't know. I feel like I've been hearing that Tolvanen's gonna come and rip up the league for like 4 years.
We've been writing BarDown posts about him for some time
yeah, jeez, man.
So
Like,
correct.
they just don't really have like anybody that I think is gonna break through and make a big difference for them. Okay, Sam, you're up with the Devils.
Realistically, if we're looking at this, what we think they're going to do this season, I think they have no chance. I don't think that they're good enough to make the playoffs even, so I'm sticking them in no chance. Have they done anything that makes you think they have a chance? If so, again, I'd love to hear why.
I want to go down to first overall pick favorites.
Really?
What
Last
excites
year?
you about this team?
Yeah.
I think Jack Hughes will have a better
There's
year.
Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier is going to take another step forward. Like,
Yeah.
I'm with Jesse. I don't think they're first overall pick favorites, and I guess Sam as well. I think we have them in the right spot.
will the Devils be a joke this year?
Yes.
Time will tell.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is. I've seen enough of him that it's a joke. That's the definition of a joke right there. It's a joke is what it is.
Wow, Jesse, I feel like this is the best one to do.
This is the best one.
Don't mess it up, Jesse.
Love.
I think they're average but promising. The Rangers are doing so many of the right things, and I think in a year's time they could be in the elite category. I mean, Lafreniere should be a pretty good player next year. They obviously already have Panarin, they have Zibanejad, they've got some good pieces. We'll have to see what happens with their goaltending this year. It's going to be an interesting year between the pipes for them.
But they have two pretty solid guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they definitely are average but promising, and I just want to add again that the Jets definitely ripped the Rangers off in that Pionk Shooter deal, and that's just the bottom line.
Julia, you're up with the Flyers. Another interesting one, actually.
This is an interesting one.
This is an interesting one.
This is a really
Yeah.
interesting one.
Oh. I'm not salivating over this one, and now I'm thinking that I like missed something. Did they trade for Sidney Crosby and I missed it, or did something?
just-
I don't know. Like, I don't find this team very interesting. Like, I said them firmly in average but promising, but I like the way that they play, and I like some of their players.
Based on how they finished the
I think
season,
they're elite.
they
I
do
could be
too.
elite. I don't think so. But
I think they're
I don't
elite.
think so either. Like, look
They
at the
are
teams that we
elite.
have in elite right now.
Travis
Flyers are-
Konechny.
The Flyers are one of the best teams in the league last year, and not only that, they have one of the best goalies in the league, which is, I keep stressing this, but this is so important.
Yeah.
This guy's like the people are like saying this guy's the next Carey Price when he entered his prime, and their top six is like
Top six is
very,
nasty.
very stacked. Like, the Flyers, and they even showed it during the regular season last year. Like, this is probably like a top 10 team in the league, maybe even like top 8.
I do kind of have them in between elite and where we have them.
I get what you mean about them being kind of on the fringe of elite.
If we're going to vote, I guess maybe I'd put them up to elite only because when I look at the teams beside them, like I think they're better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm voting it up to elite.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got elite players at every level. In goal,
I think
Yeah.
it's
defense,
based upon the fact
up
that the
front,
teams that
and
I'm
it's not just
looking
like
at
one.
beside them.
They've got multiple elite players.
Okay, Pittsburgh.
Ooh, I think I have a hot take coming in.
I love
Oh,
it.
no.
I love
Are
it.
you gonna hit them with
I
a
know where
meh?
this one's going.
I'm hitting the Penguins with a meh.
Wow.
I think they're on the decline. I think they're on
I
the
think so, too.
decline.
This is definitely more of a debate between elite and average but promising than average but promising and
Yeah.
meh.
You're
I don't know.
being crazy, Luca.
I don't think I'm being crazy.
I think you're underrating a lot of their players. Like their defense are actually
Yeah.
pretty solid now.
I can't put my finger on it. I just have this feeling that's just like the Penguins are on a decline. It's
They're-
weird to
like,
put
realistic-
Crosby in meh.
Well, because like they're also. I don't think they are. Like, I think what's really going to happen, we're probably going to vote them up to average but promising. No? Like, is that...
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It was a hot take.
I just think the name is,
Crosby being in meh, like a Crosby-led team in meh, it looks weird. It doesn't really make sense to me either, but there's something about the Penguins. I just don't think we're going to be seeing them in the playoffs this year.
I think you're crazy. It's a hot take, and they're average but promising, if not an elite team. I would have no problem voting them up to elite still.
And I have no problems with anyone doing so. It makes sense to me.
Do people want to put them to elite?
Yeah, I think they're elite. I think they're elite.
We'll discuss this one again at the end, I'm sure.
Okay, Sharks. I'll go no chance. I'm not putting them down there. Like I think they'll bounce back a bit. Carlson will probably have a better year, and they do have some decent players. Like Timo Meier's still pretty great.
Shout out to Mario Ferraro, San Jose Sharks defenseman. He's going to be in his second year. He's going to dominate.
He's your boy, for sure.
Let's go, Mario.
The best beard definitely goes to Brent Burns.
Sam with St. Louis.
I'm not out here spitting hot takes. I'm not trying to be crazy out here and say wild things. I think that they're average but promising because they've got a pretty strong core, and I don't think they're quite as good as the elites. But I also think that they could run with anyone else in the average but promising category.
Trading Pietrangelo for Krug basically is probably downgrades them from elite probably, and like I think that makes sense.
I think St. Louis is still elite.
I think
know.
so too.
Like put them up with those teams like
Torrey
with,
Krug
like,
now?
Edmonton and Philly. Like get St. Louis up there. What?
I'd put them up to elite if we want to.
I would too.
I'm hard
love
on
Blues.
this. I'm hard on this. They're better. They're so much better than like the Sabres. Like come on. The Blue
Yeah, but I don't
Jackets,
think
like,
they're better than any of the elite teams.
I'd say the Blues are arguably the best team in the elite category right now. Other than
No.
Boston. Other than Boston.
No.
Yeah, 100 guys.
Better
why
than
not?
Carolina?
Potentially.
I think they're
Why?
potentially
They won
better
the cup
than-
like
yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
they won
were
the cup
very
2
good.
years
Living in the
ago.
past, man. We're talking about this
I'm not living in
year.
the past. They were good. They
wasn't
were a
that
good
different.
team last year too.
I look at them in Philly. They're pretty similar
Yeah.
in team construction.
They are pretty similar, so I'm fine with them in elite. But let's move on. Jesse, you're up with the Leafs.
Set it up.
Jesse, if this isn't
Set it
first
up.
overall potential right here,
Guys, call me absolutely nuts.
Oh no, what is he gonna do?
this guy's gonna put them in Stanley Cup champion.
He's gonna put them in elite.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna stick the Leafs in elite.
It's not nuts. Why are you?
Yeah,
why
not
are you
nuts.
saying call me nuts?
Super,
that-
duper
no,
normal.
I think
It pains me to say because Leafs fans are cowards, and you're literally all the most annoying people on the planet and don't even realize it. But I mean, this is a pretty darn good team. And I think before the offseason, I wouldn't have said they're elite. I would have said they're average or promising. But I actually think they made some really good offseason moves. They filled up some necessary holes that they had to fill up in that lineup. It's really almost the Goliath of the Canadian division, as much as it pains me to say. They finally addressed needs on their roster.
Honestly, that's an elite take. All of that. Your take there, Jesse, is elite, much like the Leafs.
Am I a Leafs fan? The Leafs really have it all. Like it sickens me to say because their fans are so annoying. It's unbelievable how annoying you are, Leafs fans. I'm just saying, you all suck. But anyways, that's just my take. I respect your team. Okay.
It sounded like Jesse had a little bit of a crush there.
shocker. I guess based on that one, let's just do a quick vote based on Jesse's last kind of take. I guess we'll vote that one up to Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah, real quick, Stanley Cup champion.
No, we're moving on.
See what I'm saying
Provided
about
a
Leafs
lot of
fans?
valid commentary.
Worst.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Here I am as just an honest hockey take. I give my honest opinion on the Leafs, and you still find a way to just be annoying.
Okay, Julia, you're up with the Canucks.
Listen, I was really in on you guys last year. Weren't you guys in on the Canucks? Like, they seemed to like one another. They were having fun.
Pedersen's just so fun to watch.
Pedersen
It's
is sick.
amazing.
Quinn Hughes is awesome. I didn't love some of the moves they made this season. Nonetheless, I think I'll put this team in average but promising.
For sure, people are going to be angry that we rank them below the Leafs, but I think that's right. Like
I think that's right.
They didn't do enough in the offseason to like continue their momentum.
I think the Canucks are like borderline elite.
I don't argue with you, but I still think they're in the right spot.
Holtby is elite. I will say that. So
What?
I definitely.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like Holtby, man.
Sam, you are gonna get roasted.
I was the biggest
If we
Hogan
include
Holtby
that.
fan. I was the
Hockey fans, light Sam up because Braden Holtby is a beauty, but he is not elite.
Luca, you're up with the Knights.
Corwin, I feel like this is your Stanley Cup champion, so because it's not mine and the Avalanche are my Stanley Cup champion, they're elite. They are like second or third best team. Good King City boy and Alex Pietrangelo on the blue line certainly doesn't hurt as far as your odds to win the Stanley Cup.
Guy says it doesn't hurt.
They're literally playing with house money. Like, they came in, just made it to the Stanley Cup final, and just continue to add pieces, whether it's Mark Stone or Max Pacioretty. They've really built a special culture. I just don't think they're going to be the Stanley Cup champion.
They're probably not better than the Avs. Like, as much as like Petrangelo's amazing, they did lose Schmidt and they lost Paul Stastny, which I think are two probably underrated losses. They're probably just elite.
I'm so over Vegas.
I know you are. How did I know this rant was coming?
They're in the league for a cup of coffee. They're already landing like the biggest players. Like this franchise they haven't suffered anything.
Wouldn't you say that they have the ultimate suffering? If you came in like the Sharks did and were just terrible for a while, that's not suffering. Suffering is when you get close and don't win. And I would say that, like, honestly, Golden Knights might be the most suffering franchise in the past couple of years.
Oh man, but they've gone down.
Sam, I love the narrative.
That's the worst take of the video so far.
I also don't like. I also
Sam, I don't know how you think what you just said makes any sense, but I'm sure a lot of fans are going to disagree with you, and I'd love to hear them in the comments.
Why is Jesse doing this to Sam today?
Have they suffered more than any other franchise?
I'm also totally against this narrative of like new teams' fan bases having to suffer. Like, who cares? They came in.
That was unexpected.
Why?
Nobody loves other people suffering
because
Luca. That was
Jets,
really shocking.
the Jets. We inherited the worst team in the Thrashers.
Okay, we get it. You don't like Vegas. Let's move on. Jesse, you got to rank the Leafs, which I'm sure was a blast. But, now we're getting to the time where I get to rank the Winnipeg Jets, which is very nice.
Your Winnipeg Jets.
Your Winnipeg Jets. And all I'll say, Jesse, is just let me finish my point, okay? Like, before you go overreacting to where I have this team ranked, because you might not like it. Maybe I'm setting expectations too high. But I'm putting the Winnipeg Jets as an elite squad.
What?
I think the Winnipeg Jets are very underrated.
How can you put them anywhere?
I didn't want to say it. I thought y'all would rip me for it.
I thought you were going to put them in meh. That's
did
what I
I.
was leaning towards.
The Jets addressed their second line hole.
Yeah, Paul
with Paul
Stastny.
Stastny, who really played well with Line and Ehlers a couple years ago. Corn, I'm on page with you here, buddy.
Who would have expected that somebody that a lot of teams wanted went to Winnipeg? That never happens, right?
Never.
Best people in the league, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
They also have unquestionably the best goalie in the league right now.
Corwin, I actually have never wanted to hug
Corwin
you
and
so
Jesse
bad.
about to
And the Jets are only going to get better since last season too, and they still managed to make it to the bubble and could have won that series against Calgary.
Are we going to say at the end of this, there's going to be 10 different elite teams in the NHL? Because that ain't true.
It sounds like we have 3 people that want to move them down, so...
Yeah.
Jesse, maybe we just keep talking and they'll forget.
I forget.
You guys can't filibuster
Y'all are
us.
sleeping.
I actually really do like the team. I just don't think that they're in that elite category, unfortunately.
Listen.
And for that,
Well-
I'm an average but promising.
Corwin, you just, as far as us Jets fans go, we have your respect. Our new enemy number 1,
Julia.
Luca.
Luca Celebre for sure.
I wanted them in meh.
Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Corwin, you didn't put the Vegas Golden Knights into the championship caliber team, and now here I am with Arizona. And I personally am pretty sick of seeing the Avs up top. They deserve it, but like I'm sick of seeing it. But I can't in good conscience put them anywhere other than the meh category. So I'm sorry.
I was hoping for a no chance. But, Jesse, you're up with Dallas.
Shout outs to Christian here. You can't help but just stick Dallas in elite. Like, they just made it to the Stanley Cup. They have a really good team. I don't even know if they're a top 4 or 5 team, but I think they're right there.
I would argue average but promising.
Honestly, I could be convinced for an average but promising.
Their
I don't
forward
think I
group
really
is
wanna
just a
be,
little
though.
lackluster for me.
Do we want to go average but promising? I'll put that to a vote.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
put my
fine.
hand up for it.
Julia, you're up with the Tampa Bay Stanley Cup champions, Tampa Bay Lightning.
So this is very obviously a team that has to go in elite. But Luca, I'm gonna
Are you
have to.
going
We're gonna
for
have
it?
to go to a vote here. I want to go for it.
They're the best team in the
best
league.
player.
Like I think.
Yeah,
it's
like
hard
I
to
don't.
argue.
It's hard to
They just
argue.
did
Like
it.
they're pretty disgusting.
know.
I don't think you can say anyone's better than them.
Both those teams are really, really nasty. But I think if it came down to it, I think I'd take the Lightning.
I am
agree.
firmly
They-
entrenched in the Avalanche, but
All right,
I think we
with
have
your
3,
head.
right? Maybe even 4. Sam, are you? I think we're voting Tampa Bay here.
Here, here.
Sam still wants Vegas in that top spot. That
it's
bloody coward.
disappointing. It
Yo,
really
no,
is
I
disappointing,
think-
but I understand it.
Lucas says you really find out who your friends are. You know.
Yeah, and I have none.
They won the cup like 2 months ago. Like they are
Yeah.
the best.
This is about if you think they're gonna win this year again.
Sorry, Lucas. This is about who I think is gonna win this year. Sorry, I'll change that up. quick.
Yes, let's go, buds.
And just
don't
when I
actually
thought
believe
that Corwin was in
that,
the
though.
good books.
You don't
just
actually
when I thought Corwin was
believe
in the
that.
good books. Makes me sick.
I understand why you'd put Tampa up there.
They really were underperforming until they won the Stanley Cup. Like the expectations for them were really high, and I don't think they're any lower now that they've won one.
Luca, you're up with the Blackhawks.
Chicago, meh.
Yeah.
They basically came out and admitted to their fan base they're rebuilding. They're still talented up front.
I may be like in the minority in this, but I actually think I think their average were promising. Kubelik and then like DeBrincat and
so good.
their forward
true.
group's insane.
I like the Blackhawks. Like I actually don't mind
Me
some of the
too.
younger players, but like, who are we kidding? Like, I don't think this team's making a run.
Yeah, you're probably right. Is it? I'm up with the Sens.
Oh,
don't
hometown.
They're no chance. They have some fun young players, but like, come
They had an
on.
interesting offseason too. Like I feel like they added a lot of guys.
I honestly think they could be looking at that first overall pick when this is all said and done.
If we ended up seeing it there, I wouldn't be complaining too much. But I just think that they're a hair better than the teams at the bottom.
I agree. Also,
I'm with
I'm just
you.
gonna say Brady Kachuk's nasty. Final one is Sam with the Caps.
I think the Caps are really good. I think that you could never sleep on a team with OV. I think they're elite.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you all could change one team on the list, what would you do?
Jesse, if there was a category between elite and promising, I would probably put the Leafs, Oilers, Canucks, Jets, Flames.
Flames.
A lot
And
of
Every Canadian
The
team
entire
Yeah.
Canadian division.
That's
gonna be a
seriously,
sick
minus
division.
Ottawa.
It's gonna be a bloodbath in that division. Like I feel like so many different teams could win it, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess let us know what you think of our list. This is it. You probably hate it just like last time, and so
Unless
tell us
you're a
why you
Tampa
hate
fan.
it.
And to all you Vegas fans out there, tough offseason for you guys getting Alex Pietrangelo. Hey, really tough.